Hi, everybody, and welcome. Today is Sunday, June 8th. Actually, it's a 1 week before, I believe, Father's Day, and we're pre-recording this because of some other things that are coming up in our lives here for tomorrow. But I'm here with Ellen again on our aha moments, and this week again we're continuing to talk about conscious living. And Ellen, we left off last week with an explanation of how low self-esteem or self-esteem and self-worth are not necessarily the same thing. Could you share with that again, bring us up to date to what we're talking about? Oh, by
Yes,
the way, hello. Hello.
yes. Um, I definitely would like to explain it to you, but a lot of times a good way of explaining it covers can give an example or tell a story. So what I've decided to do today is to tell you a story of how my self-worth and low self-esteem can influence in our lives. Okay, so when you have self-worth, like we mentioned before, you know who you are, you know what you're willing to take, you know what you're not willing to take, and you have a set of standards actually. And not only that, but also the jobs that you take or the career that you go for. And if you're an entrepreneur, an entrepreneur is always selling themselves, always selling their business. Whether you're working for yourself, whether you are an independent contractor, or you're working for a company, okay, you're always selling yourself. And a lot of times we sell ourselves short due to the fact that our self-worth is low. So the story that I want to tell you about is about a salesperson who the manager knew since he was growing up, and he kind of liked this guy, and he believed in him. He really thought that he could do great things and make a lot of money. So what he did is that he put him in a region that the company for years have been making high profits. So at the end of the year, the salesperson only made $15,000. And this is a region that used to make $40,000, $50,000 a year because it was one of those high-end regions. And the head managers of the manager called him very upset and said, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but this salesperson that you have in this region, you have to get rid of him, fire him. He's just going to take us to bankruptcy because the region that we have been making over $40,000, $50,000 a year, we make 15,000. That does not make no sense. And we know it has to do with him, not because of the region. So the manager felt bad. He didn't want to fire the guy because he had some, he liked the guy. So what he did is he said, I'm gonna put him in a region that does really bad, that doesn't produce much money. And this region used to make maybe $5,000 to $10,000 if that. And he said, and he's gonna get so frustrated because he has to work even harder. And so now he's gonna just quit. Okay, so instead of me firing him, he's gonna quit. That would be easier for me and for him. So the following year, the salesperson was put into this lower profit region. At the end of the year, he made $15,000 again. The head managers called the manager and said, what the heck do you do? How is it that he made $15,000? That region has never done $15,000. The most that we have made is $10,000. How did he did that? What did you do? What type of training you gave him? What did you say to him? And so the moral of the story is that it wasn't what the manager said to the guy, because he didn't say anything to him. He just put him in this region so he can quit because it was going to be so hard for him to make money. But The guy, there's an example of his self-worth. He saw himself as a $15,000 producer. He couldn't see himself in a higher rank earning income. Okay, so it wasn't about where he was put, in what region he was set. It was about what he thought about him. It was about what he thought he was worth, how much income he's deserving to make. And a lot of times, I can promise you that if you really look into yourself, into your life, the type of jobs that you have taken, the type of responsibilities that you have taken upon yourself, and how much money you're making a year, whether it is because you're working for somebody or you're working for yourself, you're making whatever you're making because that's the amount of money that you have set yourself to, that you're worth it. You don't think, and this is not something that you consciously say, I'm only worth $15,000, and I'm just putting a $15,000 out there for you. But I know that you have your number, and I want you to really think about what you think you're worth, and that's just money-wise. But what about the relationship that you get yourself in? Whether it's loving relationship, the relationship that you have with children, if you have children, with your significant other, with family, with co-workers, wherever you're working, what are you willing to take? Or what are you willing to give?